Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a chronicle, a really harrowing journey into the Amberbeer Caves. And let me tell you, this place turned out to be way more than just some hole in a mountain. It's a story all about exploration, ancient secrets, and something waiting in the deep.
So let's get right into it. The story doesn't kick off with a big battle or anything like that. No, it starts with this heavy sense of dread. The party goes back into these caves, a place they figured they already knew, right? But the whole vibe had changed. The air itself felt different, charged with this weird tension. It was like the cave was telling them, you shouldn't have come back. So they find themselves back in this big central area, the pit. Now, this place used to be, well, cozy, a shelter where people would gather around fires, share stories, but not anymore. All that warmth, gone. The whole place just felt empty. And even worse, it felt like they were being watched, like the cave itself had eyes.
And get this, the walls weren't just plain rock. They were covered in these ancient carvings. And these weren't just for show, not at all. They felt more like sentinels. You had bears, wolves, lions, all carved into the stone, and every single one had these creepy, shimmering amber eyes. But here's the really unsettling part. Every single one of them was staring inward, deeper into the mountain. It was like they were either warning about something or watching for it.
So they get to the bottom of the chamber, and here it is, a classic fork in the road. Well, 3 forks. One going up, one level, and one going down. A major choice. And maybe it was their gut feeling, or maybe it was the gaze of all those amber-eyed carvings. But they picked the path that went down, deeper into the mountain's core. But of course, it wasn't going to be that easy. The path they chose wasn't just a simple tunnel. Oh no, this was the mountain's first real test. A trap, really. It was subtle, confusing, and perfectly designed to catch anyone not paying attention. And these tunnels were seriously tricky. Every time they came to a fork, they'd pick the narrow crevice, thinking they were making progress, going deeper. But after hours and hours of walking, this weird sense of déjà vu starts to kick in. Hey, haven't we seen that rock formation before? That patch of amber looks familiar? They had definitely been there before. Right. So this wasn't just them getting lost in a maze. It felt intentional. Like the mountain itself was playing a trick on them, forcing them into this endless loop over and over again. It was a prison made of rock, and they were caught right in it. So who's the one who figures it all out? You might think it's the big tough warrior, the super smart wizard, right? Nope. It was the smallest one of them all, this little reptilian companion. He's the one who notices the patterns are repeating. And that's actually how he got his name, Ord, right there in that moment when everything clicked. Okay, so they managed to get out of that looping labyrinth, totally exhausted. But they were about to find out that the cave's traps weren't just about getting lost. Something way, way worse had already snuck in right under their noses. See, while they were stuck in those twisting tunnels, one of the party, a guy named Okazaki, saw a pretty piece of amber and just chipped it off. A little souvenir. A small thing, almost didn't even think about it. He just handed it off to Talonor to hold on to. And what's the big deal, right? Just one little shiny rock in a cave this huge. Who's gonna miss it? It seemed totally harmless. Just a little keepsake from their adventure.
Or so they thought, because when they made camp for the night, that's when they discovered the truth about their little prize. The Chronicle is pretty clear on this. That piece of amber, it wasn't amber. It was alive.
Yeah, that souvenir was actually a living parasite, a kind of ooze that was just dormant, disguised as amber. And now, it had infected both Okazaki and Talonor. This changes everything, right? The dangers in this mountain weren't just rocks and shadows. They were biological, living things. It was a brutal lesson. Trust nothing in this cave. So now they're on high alert. They're wounded, they're wary, but they are not giving up. They completely ditch that deceptive downward path. Now, with a whole new level of caution, they decide to try the level corridor instead, hoping it might be a safer bet. This new path takes them to another huge cavern, but this one's got a big, deep pool of water and no obvious way out. This is where you really see their teamwork shine. Cedric, one of the party, actually transforms into an octopus to check out the pool. And what does he find? A hidden underwater tunnel. So then Thane and Ord, the 2 smallest members, go in to make sure it's safe for everyone. Only then does the whole party risk the crossing, one by one. They make it to the other side, and there's a river, so they use an enchanted boat to travel down it. And you're thinking, finally a break. But nope. Even this path, which took so much effort to find, just ends. A dead end. It's like the mountain is fighting them every single step of the way, so they have to ditch the boat and get back on a rocky trail. And as they're trudging along this stone path, totally exhausted and frustrated at this point, they're about to stumble upon the final, most terrifying secret of the Amber Bear Caves. See, they weren't just in a cave, they were on something.
It starts out of nowhere, just a sudden sharp tremor right under their feet, then another one, and another, and each one is stronger than the last. You can just imagine the whole foundation of the mountain starting to groan around them.
And the shaking just gets more and more intense. The cave walls are trembling, knocking the party off their feet. Dust and bits of rock are raining down from the ceiling. It must have felt like the whole world was literally falling apart around them. And then, complete silence. The shaking stops, the air goes completely still. You know that feeling, right? That awful quiet right before something terrible happens.
Bam! With one last massive, violent explosion of force, the floor right in front of them just erupts. Stone and dirt fly everywhere as something huge, something ancient, just tears its way out from deep below. And when the dust starts to settle, they see it. This monstrous beast. It has 6 legs, it's covered in blue scales, and its body is just coiled with this raw, primal energy you could probably feel in the air. It rears up to its full, terrifying height and just lets out this roar, a roar that felt like it shook the very soul of the mountain.
So now it all makes sense. This was never just an exploration, was it? Every single step they took deeper into that mountain was a disturbance. They weren't just walking through the caves, they were walking on a sleeping giant. And well, they just woke it up.
And that's where the chronicle leaves us. The party, face to face with the living, breathing heart of the mountain, the source of all the weirdness and danger in the cave. But it leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Is this giant beast the guardian of this place, or is it a prisoner, just like they almost were, trapped deep inside the stone?